Hello, Kentucky friends. Is Kentucky ready for the Final Four this season? According to experts, it's a resounding yes, and that's very exciting. Let's get to the news, but first, subscribe to the channel. And I want to see your comments at the end, okay? Kentucky basketball's past season was a true spectacle for college basketball fans, especially the legion of fans who make up the famous BBN, with Coach Mark Pope at the helm. The Wildcats not only recaptured the luster of a winning tradition, but this year they have expectations for the long-awaited Final Four, and who knows, the NCAA championship title. Sports experts are betting big on this team's potential, and the reasons for such optimism are more than justified. In the last NCAA tournament, the 84-75 victory over Illinois in the second round was a turning point for the program, not only because it secured the Wildcats their first Sweet 16 appearance in 6 years, but because it revealed something even more significant: the resilience and resilient mindset that Mark Pope instilled in his squad. That game, played in Milwaukee, wasn't just another matchup on the schedule. It was a decisive moment, surrounded by external pressure and pent-up expectations that could easily have weighed heavily on the players' shoulders. However, they demonstrated maturity and strategies, two attributes that are integral to Pope's calm and steady leadership. The context surrounding that match makes the feat even more impressive. As Kentucky prepared to face Illinois, other chapters were already being written in the tournament. Cal, the Wildcats' legendary former coach, was making waves with Arkansas, while Rick Pitino, another Kentucky man, was advancing with St. John's. Furthermore, BYU, Mark Pope's former university, also secured its spot in the round of 16. In this, the landscape of nostalgia and historic rivalries, Kentucky's triumph took on an even greater dimension. It was incredible. NBC sports commentator Noah Eagle was a privileged observer of this initial journey. His analysis of Pope's emotional and strategic impact during those games is crucial to understanding the transformation taking place in Lexington. His emotional intelligence is what really stands out, Eagle said in a recent interview. He highlighted how Pope managed to keep the group focused and motivated even when circumstances seemed adverse. For many, Kentucky's season could be seen as a rebuilding or even a transition year, considering the lower expectations compared to previous seasons. However, Pope proved that the Wildcats' talent and passion can surprise at any moment. Kentucky's approach to the matchup against Illinois was facing a strong opponent and a tense atmosphere. The Wildcats showed they were ready for the challenge. They not only sought victory, but dominated the game with a combination of strategy, cohesion, and competitive attitude. This approach directly reflects Pope's leadership style, which prioritizes emotional balance and genuine connection with his players. As Eagle pointed out, Pope is a family man who clearly loves his alma mater, and this shines through in every decision he makes on and off the court. While the victory over Illinois was an important milestone, it shouldn't be seen as the end, but rather as the beginning of something bigger. The expectation this season is that they can not only reach the Final Four, but also compete on equal terms with the best teams in the country. Mark Pope has shown that he's ready for big moments. His experience as a player and coach, combined with his deep understanding of Kentucky's culture, makes him a key player in this renewal. He knows what it's like to wear the Wildcats jersey, and this gives him a unique perspective on what it means to represent this institution. More than ever, BBN has reason to believe that the future is bright. Who knows? It's good to be optimistic about this new team Pope has assembled. Ansley Almanor became the center of attention in yet another chapter of Kentucky basketball history. Although he wasn't playing in the NCAA or Big 12, but rather in the competitive TBT arena, the opportunity to represent La Familia, the team comprised of former Wildcats players, in front of BBN was something he knew was special. And, as often happens in big moments, the pressure was there to test him. From the start of the match against Stroh's squad, it was clear that Almanor was carrying an emotional burden. The young player, the only member of La Familia to have been coached by Coach Mark Pope during his time at the university, was the most recent link between the present and the future of the Kentucky program. With fans packed into the stands and eager for a solid performance, his nervousness showed in the opening minutes. For missed three-point attempts, each echoing as a reminder of the responsibility he felt in donning that iconic jersey again. However, it's in the moments of greatest pressure that the true heroes of the sport reveal their mettle, and Almanor proved he belongs in that group. When the game reached its decisive point in the Elam ending, the innovative format that sets a point target to end the game, he played the unlikely hero. With La Familia needing just 3 points to reach 105 and secure the victory, Coach Sean Woods made a deliberate decision: put the ball in Almanor's hands. "I was trying to get him a good basket," Woods said after the game, recognizing the value of that moment for both player and team. "On that last three-pointer, I was going to make sure no one else got the ball but him." This trust in Woods not only reflected the strategic leadership the coach demonstrates, but also served as a vote of confidence in Almanor, even given his previous struggles. And then came the shot that would change the night. Under the watchful eyes of thousands of fans, including many who still remembered his days at Rupp Arena, Almanor received the ball on the right side of the court. Defiant but determined, he launched the ball toward the basket. The sound of the net shaking echoed through the Coliseum, and the relief on his face was palpable. The scene that followed was emblematic of the collective spirit that permeates teams like La Familia. As Almanor celebrated with his signature three-point celebration, he was surrounded by teammates who jostled him, laughing and applauding. Among them were names like Doran Lamb and DeAndre Liggins, veterans who had already made their mark on the Kentucky program more than a decade ago. For these former players, seeing Almanor triumph in that moment was an extension of the lineage of Wildcats who continue to honor the university's legacy. After the game, in a candid interview with TBT reporter Jennifer Hale, Almanor admitted that he wasn't at his best during the game. "I wasn't feeling great today," he said humbly. "So I just wanted to make sure I shot with confidence, finished the game, and got out of here. I did that, and the ball went in finally." His words resonated as a reminder that success doesn't always come easy, but that persistence and self-confidence can transform even the most difficult moments into opportunities for redemption. Beyond the athletic aspect, Almanor's presence at TBT also highlights the importance of this type of competition as a showcase for players seeking new opportunities. For him, who is still building his professional career, the tournament represents a chance to prove himself to scouts and teams from minor leagues or internationally. Every shot, rebound, and save tells a story of resilience and dedication, and his successful shot will certainly be a highlight on his resume. By the end of the night, it was clear that the impact of La Familia's victory goes beyond the score. For Ansley Almanor, it was a chance to grow as a player and reaffirm his place within the Kentucky family. For Sean Woods and the rest of the squad, it was an example of how basketball can unite different generations under the same purpose: winning and honoring tradition. Strange things happen in this recruiting process sometimes, and the recent decision by Jason Crow Jr., one of the most coveted prospects in the 2026 class, to commit to the Missouri Tigers brought a surprise to the Kentucky basketball scene. Announced on Friday, July 18, 2025, coinciding with the player's 17th birthday, Crow's choice of Missouri over top programs like Kentucky, Southern California, Texas, Alabama, and Arkansas marked the end of a story that, 4 months, seemed to point to Lexington. While the decision raised some eyebrows, it also highlights the strength and resilience of the Wildcats program, which, under the leadership of Coach Mark Pope, continues to build a promising future with a strategic and focused approach to recruiting. Crow, a point guard from Inglewood, California, is a jewel of high school basketball. Ranked as the 7th best rising high school player and the 3rd best point guard by the Rivals industry ranking, he has been shining brightly on the summer circuit. At Peach Jam, an event that brings together the country's best young talent, Crow leads the scoring charts with an impressive 26.5 points per game over 4 matches, shooting 45.5% from the field, 34.4% from three-point range, and 83.3% from free throw range. His scoring and playmaking prowess made him a natural fit for the dynamic, offensive style that Mark Pope has implemented at Kentucky. The personal connection between Crow and assistant coach Jason Hart, a longtime friend of the player's father, further fueled expectations that he could wear the Wildcats blue and white. Kentucky's official offer to Crow came shortly after Pope's arrival as head coach in April 2024, signaling the coaching staff's priority for the young point guard. However, as Crow himself revealed in an interview with KSR reporter Jacob Polacek, conversations with Pope have slowed in recent weeks. "I haven't talked to Coach Pope much recently. He's been busy with the team, obviously," Crow said, indicating that, despite his initial interest, he was also considering other options. This openness culminated in the surprising choice of Missouri, a program that, while respectable, doesn't carry the same historical weight as Kentucky in college basketball. The decision undoubtedly raises questions about what motivated Crow to opt for the Tigers, especially considering the appeal of Rupp Arena and Pope's long-term vision for the Wildcats. Despite the initial impact of the news, the approach of Mark Pope and his coaching staff demonstrates why Kentucky remains one of the most robust programs in the country. Rather than dwell on the loss of Crow, the Wildcats are already looking to the future with a deep roster of recruiting targets in the 2026 class. Pope's coaching staff, known for its diligence and ability to identify talent that aligns with the coach's fast-paced, modern system, is closely monitoring other elite prospects at the Peach Jam. Names like Jordan Smith Jr. No. For overall, Caleb Holt No. 5, Ikenna Alozie No. 12, Tay Keeney No. 13, and others are receiving special attention from Pope's assistants during the event. This list of targets reflects the program's ambition to continue attracting highly creative players. Furthermore, the Kentucky coaching staff's consistent presence at the games of Tyron Stokes, another 5-star prospect and Crow's teammate on the Oakland Soldiers, reinforces Pope's strategic vision. Stokes, who has attracted attention from programs across the country, represents a golden opportunity for the Wildcats to bolster their roster with a versatile and dominant talent. Pope's approach, which combines an attractive playing style with a culture of player development, continues to position Kentucky as a desirable destination for young athletes with NBA dreams. Crow's decision to choose Missouri, while unexpected, doesn't shake Mark Pope's confidence in his project. On the contrary, it serves as a reminder of the competitive nature of college recruiting, where individual choices don't always reflect a program's value. Pope is prepared to attract new recruits who make a difference.